So, I wanted to share an interesting concept I just learned, which is called the 25% rule. And I found this extremely helpful when it comes to just like planning in life and knowing what I want to get out of it. Because what the 25% rule tells you is what is required for you to succeed in life in any area. And so, this is the article. Again, you can read this in your own time, but I'm just going to like summarize the key points for you. So, it starts off with the example of like people like Serena Williams, Michael Jordan, people that are very excellent in their own field. And so if we look at their like skills, one area, massive amount of skill, like let's say 10 out of 10. And you may think, like I thought for the longest time that I needed to be like that. I needed to pick one field in particular and I need to be 10 out of 10. And before I like continue, I just want to say that's completely valid. Like if you want to be a professional athlete or a professional chef, then 100% go for it. But for me, it wasn't really something that like I was drawn to. Like I always had like various interests, and I always liked different fields and just playing around with different things, seeing how they relate to each other. And so, as the article says, it's very hard to do. Now, it's not impossible. Again, I don't want to crush your dreams, but what the 25% rule tells us is you can find success by being in the top 25% in two or more categories. And so, an analogy is like rather than seeing life as a 100-meter sprint where you need to be the fastest sprinter, life can also be like a decathlon. There's 10 events and you don't have to be the best in every single one. You just have to be like in the top percentile of every single event. And so overall you'll be the winner because overall you'll have the highest score. So that's like the way I kind of like see life. And it's not like life is either 100-meter sprint or it's a decathlon. It's like a spectrum. So it doesn't matter like which game you play. There's multiple mini games in life. People that Michael Jordan, as we just mentioned, like they've definitely played the sprint game initially. Like they just got really good at one particular area and that's it. But for other people that followed the 25% rule, so people like Gordon Ramsay, he's not the greatest chef in the world, but he's not the greatest performer. But when he combines multiple skills such as communication, cooking, his passion, he combines all of them into a very like unique cocktail of skills that makes him very unique. And so this is an example. Obviously there's three areas here, so it's more like a triathlon, but the same like logic when it comes to the analogy. It's like you don't necessarily have to be the best at one particular field. You can just be in the top 25% of two or three key domains that you may pick. The article mentions that communication should always be like in one of your top skills, and I agree. That's like one of the things I'm working a lot on, just on like communicating, just being more concise and just being more impactful. So that's actually one of the reasons I'm making like this video right now, to practice my communication skills. So if you have any feedback, I would appreciate that in the comments. But I just wanted to share this 25% rule with you in case you're like going through life and thinking what you want to focus on. Because for the longest time, I thought I just had to like stick with one field and just get as good as that as possible. But I realized that like I wanted to just be good at like other areas as well. Because for me at least, and obviously, this is just my own like personal opinion, I find joy in like mastering different skills. And it's like, it's obviously it's a fine balance. If I pick like, 100 skills and try to get good at all of them, that's obviously not going to work. But what the 25% rule says is if you just pick two or three areas, that's about like the most optimal amount of skills that you can really get good at the same time. And so that's essentially what the 25% rule says. Again, you can take a look at the article for more details or more examples. But the 25% rule has definitely been something that has changed like how I went about like developing skills and achieving my goals. So hope that was helpful.